Hey girls, welcome back to Girlhood No Manual. On today's video, we will be talking about our own personal travel do's and don'ts.
Am I really that much? And breaking these niggas down like a camera. You don't really know you are.
Okay, so the main purpose of this video is to basically share some of our travel do's and don'ts since we have successfully planned and taken a girls trip out of the group chat. So those are some of our credentials. We took a trip out of the group chat when the odds were against us.
Oh, and with the odds against us.
And we persevered and we took the trip after only just 1 year of knowing each other.
It wasn't even actually okay. Yes, it was a year of knowing each other, but it wasn't even a year of like talking
Planning.
about the trip. Yes, of like planning and talking about the trip. So, we know our story.
Exactly. And how we basically came about taking the trip. It was supposed to be a group trip, right? There was a few of us, but as we all know, people started falling away, and be like, no, I can't come for this reason and that reason. And in the end, it was just basically us two who were left, who were still keen and who still wanted to take the trip. So, like, you know what? If it, we'll just do it.
And
we took the trip.
Exactly.
If you have not seen our short of our little trip that we posted, go check it out. It's a cute little video. But yeah, let's get right into the do's and don'ts.
Exactly. Okay.
The first do is have a strict savings plan with timelines and deadlines.
Yes. So I'll go first. I think that one we learned from experience. We learned from our first trip. We were freestyling. I don't even know. Did we know how much we needed to have by when? We didn't know anything. We just said, okay, this is what we need to buy. Let's save this. So I think a lot of things we ended up having to penny pinch, and we couldn't afford some of the things. We're like, oh, let's not do this, let's not do that, because we didn't have a strict plan to say, okay, by month 1 we should be saving this much, month 2 this is how much we should have. So I think from that experience we learned that, you know what, have time frames, know that 6 months before the trip we're doing this, and therefore how much you're saving every month.
Yeah. And also what I remember with our first trip is we were saving, right? We were putting away money. However, if something came up in daily life, we would just
just take.
I need to borrow 1,000.
But were we saving a specific amount every month?
Yes, we were. We were putting away, I think, was it 1.5? I don't know how much you're putting away, but we were putting a set amount, or we had an agreed amount that each month we're putting away this much. However, we just weren't disciplined and strict with our savings, and also having the timelines of by after 3 months we need to be paying for this, we need to be, so we were taking and putting.
Because I remember actually what happened. Remember, we kept postponing our flight tickets.
Yeah.
We'll buy. And that worked against us. That really worked against us. Because had we said that, no, we had the 1.5 a month, but if we said 1.5 a month and then August we're buying flight tickets no matter what, I think that definitely would have helped us. Because even Shein costs because Shein costs now had to go down. We're like, do we need this? Do we actually need this?
We were penny pinching. So I think definitely stick to the timelines that you agree on and have a clear savings path. Okay, the second one that sort of leads on from the first one that we just spoke about is I highly recommend, or do have, a joint savings travel, a travel savings account if you travel together regularly as well. So if you know that you like are planning on taking a trip at least once a year together, I would honestly recommend having a joint savings account, because that's what we did after our first trip when we saw, you know what, this ain't gonna work. Okay, so we decided to open a joint travel savings account where we're both putting in money every month. How that helps is we're able to keep each other accountable. Because if I'm seeing that, hey, Sisi, you are not saving.
Where's your monthly?
Your money's not coming in. Your money's not coming in. What's going on? You know, so you can keep each other accountable, and also it prevents you from wanting to dip into those savings. Because if it's just a savings account where it's just you on your own, I'm gonna go into it here and there when I need a little extra cash.
And no one's gonna know. So now you have to be like, please send, please approve. And like, oh my gosh, she's gonna be asking me a million questions. What do I wanna do with this money? So it's just like, you know what? Like, it's literally my last option.
Yeah, like when it's emergency.
So yeah, I think that really helps with accountability. And I think also you don't even have to save the entire amount for the trip in that savings account. So I know, for example, a colleague of mine, her and her friends, what they do is that, let's say, for example, the trip is going to cost them 60,000 Rand. In the joint savings account, they save 3,000 Rand, but that 3,000 Rand is not all the money you need, because obviously maybe person X has someone that's gonna betcha them 10,000, then they can. So just have like a minimum amount that you're saving with each other, and then whatever you can still save and put on top of that, you're still putting it in. But to have that minimum amount that you're saving together, I think is really
especially
helpful.
for the big stuff. So like your accommodation, your flights,
exactly,
those things definitely. But anything like your spending, your shopping, and stuff like that you can honestly do on your own. But the big stuff, I think it's important, because also it helps in terms of sticking to the timelines that you're agreed to. It's okay, by March we need to be buying our flights.
Exactly.
So if we're all saving this at
Same
the same
amount.
in the same place, we know, okay, this is how much we have, we can go ahead and get our flights. So consider it. It really does help.
It really does help. Yep.
The next one is, whatever the budget is, add 10% to that.
100%.
I definitely agree, because honestly, things like prices fluctuate, prices change. You'll find that when you were planning and building up your budget, certain things was like maybe this amount, and then by the time you're actually ready to pay for it, it's fluctuated, it's changed. So yeah.
But not even price fluctuations. I think like a lot of unforeseen circumstances can happen. Like, for example, let's say you guys budgeted 250 for your airport transfers. It can happen that you get there and then the airport transfer is 800. Do you get what I mean? Now you don't want something like that to take you out of budget completely. Now you're like, oh, I can't do anything at all. And also, I think just to have that extra leg room and spending room. So for example, with our trip, what happened is that we were like, our budget was like this.
There was no room.
There was no wiggle room. There was nothing. Like, if it was not in the budget, we couldn't afford it. And even with the what's this, the flight tickets, you see, had we budgeted an extra 10%, because we missed our flights, unfortunately, and also we couldn't afford to get the shuttle, because they had a shuttle there. Did they have a shuttle?
Where?
To leave the airport sooner. I mean, to leave the hotel sooner.
No, we'll get to that, but they didn't.
Oh, okay. Anyway, it's fine. But like, you see, things like that, you should be, if God forbid, let's say, for example, something happens and then you need to spend another night there in the hotel, you should be able to do that. Do you get what I mean? Like, you shouldn't be stranded in a place. And especially also if you're going to be traveling like overseas, international trips, I think it's very important to have that extra money so you can get yourself out of any problems.
Yeah, so have like an emergency pocket.
Yes, an emergency
for anything
pocket
that could come up and you need to move now. You can like do it, especially international. I think local, I mean, you can wing it.
Yeah, you can wing it.
international, there's very little like room to sort of just
Exactly.
make plans along the way. But
And also, especially if you're like spontaneous, like you see, like us, we then when we got there, we decided we want to do other things that were not in the budget. So like it makes the trip a lot more fun and doesn't limit you and limit like the experiences that you're able to have if you have a little bit of that wiggle room and you have that extra money to say, okay, I can spend this, because at the same time you want to be able to enjoy it to the fullest.
Yeah, that's the point. Yeah. Okay, the next one is but I think this one, it sort of speaks to what you just said, is having a plan A and plan B, because sometimes the initial plan doesn't always work out. So like Zetu mentioned on our trip, we missed our flights, right? And actually, it wasn't even our fault. Joe, it really wasn't our fault. In thingy, they were busy fixing the roads and stuff, and so there was so much traffic, like so much traffic, and we ended up getting to airport late. But also before that, we initially had planned that we're going to Uber from the hotel to the airport. Only to find out where we were, there's no Ubers. There's no Ubers, and it's time to go. We're packed, we're ready to go, and it's like nothing. And so now we're stranded, we're like confused. What are we gonna do? How are we gonna get to the airport? We can't miss our flight. And it was in the morning. And so eventually we were able to obviously get something together because at the hotel staff helped us. But you know, it would be good to have planned ahead for that, to avoid such things. Because also another thing, we wanted to go like on a boat cruise ride. The weather that day was completely terrible, so we couldn't go. And then obviously because we didn't plan for any other activity, we just did nothing.
Exactly.
And we literally chilled. But you know, we would have loved to actually do like an activity whilst we were there. And so we were trying to put something together, but it just wasn't working. So yeah, I would always say that have like a backup plan in terms of the things that you're doing, just so that if something doesn't work out, you still have other like plans to fall back on. I think that.
And the funny thing is, we actually had a driver, didn't look, because we had a guy take us from the airport to the hotel, and then we're like, oh, okay, Puti, we're gonna use you to go back. What did he do? He disappointed us.
He didn't pitch. We told him we have a flight at this time. Please come pick us up. We agreed. We were in, you know, agreement. When the day came, nothing.
MIA. Nowhere to be found.
Nothing. And so that's how we were left.
So I think also, had we done research and we knew that like there's no Ubers in that place or something, like I think we could have done definitely more to prepare for that and not sort of just be like, okay, we'll see our way. But yeah.
But Shem, in our defense, it was our first trip, and like we said, we didn't have much time to plan it. We were just going as we go along the way. Okay, the next one is plan with serious people. You're only as strong as your weakest link.
Elaborate. Okay, that was my point. So, okay, this is obviously a bit controversial. However, I do think if people are serious about getting the group chat, the trip out of the group chat, they will get it out. Like, as long as you have the desire, I don't have a problem with you. But
all I need is that desire.
Yes, the desire, man. Like, I mustn't be like chasing you around and be like, okay, are we still doing the trip? Like, I like people who engage and we know, like, okay, this is what we're doing. This is what you're doing. This is when we're doing it, and so forth and so forth. Because you also don't want to be like, okay, guys, like, let's go and open a group bank account, and then this person is busy giving you guys the runaround. Like, you will never open the group bank account. Do you get what I mean? Like, even things like that, you are never, because if you're gonna wait for people, you will never do it. Because that's what happened with us, basically. Like,
first one.
Can you imagine? Okay, not that they were not serious. However, can you imagine if we forced to say no? It has to be all 10 of us. Like, it was never gonna get out of the group chat. So I think you must be sure that you want to go in the group chat number one, so you don't pamper other children's stuff. Before you say you want to go on a group chat, be sure about it and communicate. Like if for some reason you can no longer go on the trip, say, and then like we'll see what we can do.
Make adjustments.
Exactly. But my perspective is, I don't think you should let people hold you back. If it's 6 of you, 5 of you are ready to go, go. The other person will come next year when they're serious. Or when they see things moving, they'll be like, oh, okay, fagami.
That's true. Because honestly, if you're going to wait for people, and this applies to absolutely anything, if you're going to wait for people, you won't end up doing stuff, you won't end up experiencing things because you're waiting on other people to be in agreement and to come along with you. So yeah, I do agree with that. It's just a bit touchy.
Yeah, it's not nice because obviously you don't want to leave people behind, but at the same time, it's like if you were never serious about coming, you'll be fine staying behind. You will be fine staying behind.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, the next one. I'm gonna need to explain this one, but always exercise patience.
Oh, this is where she comes in.
It's easy to let the small stuff get in the way of enjoying your trip, especially with group trips, right?
Big groups, yeah.
So to elaborate on that one, obviously you're dealing with a number of different people, right? There's different personalities, everybody has their own thing, going on, there's different factors to consider with a group, right? And so obviously there's going to be instances where you're not in agreement. There's going to be times where, you might get a bit annoyed here and there with certain things, but it's very key that you exercise having patience, because group dynamics, there's always going to be a little bit of a tussle here and there,
so you need to be patient.
So like exercise a whole lot of patience if you're planning on enjoying your trip, because if you're gonna let the small stuff get to you, trust me, you're not gonna have a good time. You're going to be miserable, and you're not gonna get your money's worth. And I think with anyone going on a trip, you want to have the absolute best time. You want to have the absolute best memories, and you can't do that if you're now constantly at each other's throats.
But over and above patience, I think that also like works hand in hand with being someone who is able to compromise. Like don't be someone who's like, no, I said we're doing this, so we have to do this. Like, like be able to be flexible. It is a group trip at the end of the day. It's different people. Like, not everyone's gonna agree with what you want to do. So be comfortable with not being in too much control. Unless obviously different group dynamics, I guess, work differently. Maybe the group is comfortable with someone being in charge of everything. It's possible. Yes. Yes, it's possible.
Cut me out. No.
You see, it's not easy going on a trip with this one.
No, listen, hear me out. Because if there's now only one person making the decisions or essentially leading the way, then you're going to be left there feeling like some type of way, because
but the reason why I'm not necessarily saying that like you are imposing on everyone. I mean, like we know you as the planner. So for example, how like you had everything planned, and then I was just like asking, okay, so what are we doing now? When are we paying this? What are we like? What's happening like that? Okay. I mean, like that, unless the group dynamic has agreed that you are in charge.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant in like just deciding everything. No. Okay, this is what's happening. Because when I was planning our first trip, I was consulting with you, basically presenting to you, okay, this is what I've sort of thought up, this is what I've researched, what do you think, what do you like, is there anything else that you want to do, etc., etc. But it's just I was basically the one planning it all and doing all the running around and stuff like that. So that's fine, that's completely fine. I thought you meant in just, this is what we're doing. And
No, but
you
if
know,
you're in
like-
charge, if you're in charge of the trip, it's like, okay, guys, tomorrow waking up at 6 o'clock. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is what.
Okay. But some people, yeah, I guess
Yeah,
it
like-
depends on the group dynamics.
Yeah, I think it
Some
depends
people
on the
don't,
group dynamic.
don't like that, and
Yeah.
it can get tricky. Because also another thing is, you need to remember you're not around these people so much if like all the time. Like on a trip, you're around each other 24/7.
Yes, actually.
We're having breakfast, lunch, dinner,
Drunk.
trips, activities, everything is we're in each other's space. And no matter how close you can be, there's just going to be those instances where you're going to get on each other's nerves here and there. And so, yeah, you need to have some emotional.
I have something to say, but I'll keep it to myself. No, I was gonna say that that's why I also think, I don't know, like I'm open to correction or whatever, but I don't think super large groups work. I don't think
agree.
super large groups work. I think like, yeah, I think super large groups don't work if, for example, I don't know, this is my thoughts, right?
Yeah.
I don't think a super large group works if it's like, if it's not my trip. For example, like I'm the birthday girl or it's my bachelor party. So at least I'm the one who's in charge.
Yeah.
I'm the one who's saying, okay, guys, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. I think it works like that. But I think if it's like just too many opinions, too many too much going on, I do think it. I've never done it before. I think looking from the outside, it is a bit giving Real Housewives. It is giving a bit of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip, but yeah, that's just my opinion. I don't know.
Yeah, it's true. That is true. I do think it works in the dynamics when it's somebody's special moment, like whether it's a bachelor party, birthday, whatever. It works because it's only on one person to make decisions.
Decide. Exactly.
Hello, this is my party. Okay, so we're all gonna do what I want. However, if it's a group trip where we just all deciding we want to go somewhere together, then it gets a bit tricky.
Where you have to be more patient,
and there's more,
more considerate, and like you have to be more of a team player. This is also to people who are going on these kinds of group trips, is like, be considerate that it's not your trip. You are not going on this trip alone. So communicate, be patient, be considerate. Don't be a difficult person to deal with.
Yeah, compromise.
Yes.
Also. Okay, the next one, which I think we've kind of touched on, is communicate.
Oh yes, communicate. But communicate throughout everything. Like communicate that I'm not able to meet the deadlines, I'm not able to contribute this much. Communicate if like you don't like want to do something, if you are tired, like just communicate everything. And don't be, so also how I see it is, don't be that person who we must be chasing around. Like I don't like that. I don't like that at all. Like if we're all planning a group trip together and we're saying this is what we're doing, communicate, like engage, like we're going on this trip together.
Yeah, that's true. I think there's no over communicating.
Exactly.
Like there's no such thing. Rather you over communicate than not communicate. Because also I think from what we were saying about having a leader or whatever, or the main people deciding and speaking on stuff, next thing you're finding that when you are not communicating, because no guys, man, I don't think we should do it this way, or I don't think we should, or I would like for us to do this, and then we're obviously not going to know what you're thinking or how you're feeling, and the next thing you feel like we're bossing you around.
Or when we do the thing, or when it's time to do the thing, now all of a sudden when now you're not up for it, you're like, no, I actually don't want to do this. And then it's like,
whereas you could have said earlier on with Ishino, I'm not really feeling this vibe, you know.
Exactly.
You know. And also I think it's okay, like for instance, maybe with activities, obviously maybe not everyone is going to be into the same thing. Let's say we all want to bungee jump. Not everyone's going to want to bungee jump.
So if you want to sit it out, or maybe you would like us to do something else, consider something else, or have two different activities, like communicate.
Yeah, just communicate. I think communicating is the key thing, especially with larger groups, is you can't have a successful trip without communicating, Shem. There's no way.
And for me, I don't know if I already said this, I just feel very passionately about it. Like, if we are planning something, like, let's be on top of things. Like, if we're saying, okay, we are leaving on the 29th, let's speak, okay, on the 29th, what time are we leaving? Like, have we bought the tickets for the 29th? Have we done this and that and that and that and the fourth? Like,
I agree. But the whole point is communicate. Like, there's no better way to put it, because also, okay, this is based off experience, right? And no shade to anyone, this is based off experience, but yeah, no shade to anyone. But like I said, on the trip, we're not constantly around each other all the time. Yes, we're friends, yes, we may be close, but we're not living with each other. So
you mean on the trip you're not living with each other, or
no? I mean in
outside
general,
of the trip you're not living with each other.
I mean in general, we're not living with each other, right? So now once we're on the trip, we're around each other constantly. So there's bound to be moments where we're going to, maybe get a step on each other's toes here and there, or maybe annoy a person here and there. And so if such things happen, say so, communicate, like say it, like, so if I say something out of turn and now you're feeling some type of way about it, say it then and there and be like, listen, I didn't like that, because now you're going to harbor it, and now it ruins the trip. Now the whole trip is sour because you're.
But also say it in the right way.
Yes.
Don't now speak to me out of your mouth. Just because you are a direct person, no. Okay?
Yeah, yes. No. Obviously, you have to communicate your feelings properly. But yeah, I think say if something is upsetting you, or if you don't like something, or whatever the case may be, so that we can address it and move on. Because when you don't address something, you're just going to.
Now you're gonna be a sour grape on the trip, and you're not gonna have fun.
Nobody wants that. Nice. Everybody needs to have fun. Everybody needs to enjoy. That's why we're going together. That's why we're going on the trip. We want to have fun. That's the whole point. So yeah, communicate.
But switch on your happy juices. Like,
yeah,
I think
I
think also don't take everything too seriously. I feel like that's why I was saying be able to be a flexible person. Like, be able to not take everything too hard. At the end of the day, like, we're all here to have fun. No one's gonna offend you intentionally. If like, yeah, I don't know. I just think don't, maybe that's just how I am. I think there's no need for you to be too quick to take offense at things that aren't meant to be offensive. Do you get what I mean? Like, don't be too sensitive. I don't know.
But that one is tricky, I feel, because obviously we're different as people.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know. I think that's what I'm saying. Okay, activate your fun juices, but obviously if someone is being weird, then you have every right to feel some type of way about it. But I do think don't let your first like response be to take offense at everything.
Yeah.
So for example, if I'm like, no, I don't want to go bungee jumping, now you're like, oh, she never wants to do anything that I want to do. Like, do you get what I'm trying to say? Or if I'm like, I don't know, I can't think of anything. I just think let loose, be fun, like,
just have fun. Like, the main point is having fun. Just be in the mindset to have fun. End of story.
I agree.
The last point that we have is give yourselves enough time to plan and to actually execute your plan.
You have to be realistic in your plans. So I would think you would need at least like a couple of months or a year to plan a trip that's going to cost you like 50,000 rand. So don't that also avoids like putting people under unnecessary pressure, and then like people can't even communicate and be like, oh guys, like the budget, I'm falling a bit behind. It just makes everything realistic and make sure that you guys are able to actually get the trip out of the group chat, because you don't want to be saying, yeah guys, let's go to Dubai next week. Like, come on now, come on, we have to budget, you know. So having a realistic plan, giving yourself enough time to execute, and please don't come here and be like, oh no, but like you can't say Dubai is unrealistic. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about in terms of time frame.
Yeah.
Yes. So be honest with yourself and the group, and be realistic in how long it's going to take you to be able to save for that trip and execute it, because at the end of the day you want to get it out of the group chat. You still want to enjoy during the year. You don't want your whole salary like to go to this trip. So that's, yeah, I think that's basically what it means to say give yourself enough time to plan and execute. And also, like, you want to be able to do enough research in terms of like what activities you want to do when you're there, what you want to see, places you want to visit, what time of the year is the best to go there, how long you want to be there for, you know, those sort of things.
And also I think more especially with international trips, I think international trips are way more complex in terms of like planning and all of that, because there's so much to consider. You know, there's different laws that you need to abide by. You know, there's different things that you need to know. You know, so it's very important that you're well prepared for anything that could come up. And yeah, there's no better way to be prepared than to give yourself enough time to plan and stuff. And yeah, also just not to put yourselves under too much pressure, okay? Because it's quite costly to travel. Like,
exactly,
it's not a cheap thing.
And I think that's honestly what makes a lot of trips not making out of the group chat. Like, it's you people, we don't plan. When I look back at a lot of trips that I've tried to go on with my friends, and like a lot of trips that we've tried to get out of the group chat, it's always been like, yeah, let's go to Thailand next month. And it's like, but guys, you haven't planned. You don't know how much you need to save every month. You don't know what is going to cost, and then it ended up just being a conversation, and
it never
actually materializes. So it's very important to give yourself time to plan. But I also think one thing we didn't add is have a planner in your group. That's a do. That's a big do. Have a planner in your group. Have someone who is going to drive everything, because if everyone's just gonna sit back and be like, yeah, we're going on the trip, but like no one is actually saying, okay, this is the plan, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, chances are it's not going to get out of the group chat, because everyone's just waiting for someone to do something.
Yeah, it's honestly good to have like a designated planner, like even if they're not obviously going to do everything on their own, but just someone who's going to sort of put it all together and sort of be the one to lead the conversations and what's happening, what do we want to do, and you know, etc. etc. It genuinely does help, especially with groups, large groups. Okay. With that being said, that brings us to the end of our video, and we are busy planning our next girls trip. So if you haven't already watched our previous video in our little travel segment, we were busy getting our passports, so go have a little watch of that.
Hint. Where are we going? Stay tuned and find out.
Let's see you try and guess in the comments down below, where are we going
exactly.
But yeah, stay tuned. We are going to be having some travel content that we're going to be shooting, obviously. And yeah, we hope you find this video useful and helpful, as these are some of the tips that we have picked up from our past experiences with traveling. So
and also just like from people telling us that, guys, do this is how you make sure that you get it out of the group chat, like tips and tricks that we've also received from other people. So hopefully this helps you and your girls get your trip out of the group chat.
So until next time, lovelies.